Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Well, I got a couple of videos that I want to show you today. Iran dropped their latest Lego video. We're going to look at that. And the U.S. is supposed to be blocking the Straits of Hormuz, but I'm going to show you what happened when a U.S. naval ship entered the ocean, the Persian Gulf. And Iran, let's just put it this way, made them leave, and they left. And they are saying any ships that come in there and they're not supposed to be there, they are going to blow them up. Now, what did Donald Trump say? Oh, he's going to use the Navy as a blockade. You know what, y'all? It ain't going to work. I'm just telling you, Donald Trump is full of crap, and this blockade mess will not work. They're just butt sore that Iran is fully in charge of the Strait of Hormuz. They're making money. Donald Trump wants in on that money. He has no right to be trying to mess with these people money. The blockade is to do what they have done historically, sabotage. That's all. It's just another sabotaging because they want something they can't have. So they're trying to now sabotage Iran from making all that money that they want to get their hands on. But Iran is smart. They're not going to do no deals and negotiate money they're making. You would have to be a fool, especially with the US of all countries. So let me share my screen. I'm going to first show you their latest video. 1 second here. Okay. All right. Give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. They failed at the talks. Now they want to blockade the strait. Hormuz hustle. Hormuz hustle. You wanna blockade us? We already run the muscle. Blockade our blockade. Go ahead, try your luck. You scared to come close? Keep running. What the fuck? Talks fell apart, now you screaming blockade. But we already control the flow, we set the rate. Every ship pays, total stays away from the gate. You threaten to stop us? Boy, you're way too late. Gas prices rising, your allies in panic mode while we sit back laughing. Y'all digging your own hole, you talk real big, but your Navy stays far. Scared of our mines and missiles, that's who you are. Hormuz hustle, Hormuz hustle. You wanna blockade us? We already run the muscle. Blockade our blockade, go ahead, try your luck. You scared to come close? Keep running, what the fuck? What happened to boots on the ground? Where's the invasion? You talk so tough, now you're hiding in hesitation. You beg for ceasefire, fire, they ran back. The threats couldn't handle the table, so you're making new plans. We're still waiting for those boots. You promised to send. Come on, Danny, bring 'em, we'll give you the welcome you deserve in the end. Keep bluffing, keep running, keep playing pretend. Hormuz is ours, you just lost again. Sacred defense, we control the flow. Boots on the ground, we still waiting, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, y'all, I could feel the groove from that one. So, and they're right, but I don't see how Donald Trump can successfully do this blockade with not being fired upon. And Iran already said they will fire on there, but they'll sink them damn ships. So I don't know how he's going to pull this off, but he's claiming the blockade is already set up according to them. But I do not see this thing being successful. I don't, not at all. So let me show you what happened when a US Navy ship entered the Persian Gulf. And I want you to hear how they reacted. They pretty much tucked their tail and ran when they got confronted by Iran. All right. So, yep, that's it. All right. So this recently happened, and Iran, they said it's been all over the news in Iran because, of course, they're going to show off anytime they can run the US off. So that's what they did. So let me go ahead and show you this video. Now, I also want you to keep in mind, remember, Donald Trump claimed he destroyed their whole navy. It's nothing left. He done destroyed all of their military. There's nothing left. Okay, well, somebody just manhandled the navy, and you claim they're all gone, they're all dead, they're all this, they're all that, but your navy still got manhandled out there. Okay, all right, let's do it.
You must alter course and go back to the Indian Ocean immediately. If you don't obey my order, you will be targeted. Out.
This is Coalition Warship 121, engaged in transit passage in accordance with international law. No challenge is attended to you.
U.S. Navy warship transiting in the vicinity Fojay Report and Oman Sea. This is Sepah Navy. This is Sepah Navy. Last warning, last warning, last warning. Attention all vessels in Oman Sea. This is Iranian Sepah Navy. If you see any warship in your vicinity, keep a distance more than 10 miles from them because I'm ready to open fire on them without any.
That's the US Navy leaving after Iran confronted them for being there. All right. So that's the footage that you just saw. That came out about a day ago. So much for your blockade, Donald Trump. They said they're ready to fire upon you. So I really believe this blockade y'all planning is a flop, but we shall see over the coming days. You claim you got it all set up. I don't know. I don't know, but I don't trust nothing Donald Trump says. And if they are there, trust me. Oh, Iran, you think Iran gonna let you mess up their money? They ain't gonna let you mess up their money. I don't care what sabotaging you try to do. They gonna run your ass the hell up on out of here, just like they ran this US Navy ship out. All right, y'all. All right, so now let's get to the videos. Let's see here. Okay. All right, give me a 1, y'all, if you can see everything. Thank you. All right, let's do it.
I would say it's holding well. Their military is destroyed. Their whole Navy is underwater. You know that 158 ships are gone. Their Navy's gone. Most of their mine droppers are gone. We have a lot of people, as you know, at 10 o'clock tomorrow, we have a blockade going into effect. That'll be 10 o'clock tomorrow. Other nations are working so that Iran will not be able to sell oil. But there are many boats heading toward our country to fill up with oil and then go and take it. So they're not going to go through the Hormuz Strait. And ultimately, that'll be corrected. But in the meantime, they're using us. We have more oil because of drill, baby, drill. We have more oil than Russia and Saudi Arabia put together.
So let me get this right. The U.S. is now going to implement a blockade in the Strait of Hormuz. So when Iran was willing to let some oil flow with some taxes, if you will, now we don't even have that chance. I think his next book should be called The Art of Deal Destruction. You know what I mean? That seems more appropriate. Anyway, y'all have a great one.
Donald Trump has ordered the Strait of Hormuz to be blockaded by U.S. Navy at 10 a.m. on Monday, April 13th. Donald Trump also is contemplating renewing bombing across Iran as I speak. It's 12:23 a.m. right now, and we have an interesting feature going on. The West Texas Intermediate oil is $104.90 a barrel at 12:23 a.m. on Monday morning, I guess. And Brent crude, which is usually more, is $102.21. Now, both of these have gone up about $7 a barrel since today, and will probably escalate higher and higher, especially if more war breaks out. But the reason this is important, when West Texas is more, this means there is a high demand in the United States, and they are exceeding capacity. They can't produce enough oil. They can't get enough oil through the system when West Texas is more expensive than Brent. Usually it's the opposite. Usually Brent is more than West Texas, but this has gone up where it's above. The demand is up tremendously. The other thing, just to mention, the oil ships that left Strait of Hormuz by mid-May to end of May will all arrive at their destination points. Right now, there is no new oil coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil is not going to be shipped. In about a month or so, that all of that oil is going to be delivered. That's when we're going to see prices really, really start to escalate, especially if the Strait of Hormuz is not opened. This is going to have huge negative impacts on our economy, which is why Donald Trump is so panicked to try to get the strait opened. And he's not doing any of the right things to get it open, clearly, because it's closed more than ever. And now he's going to blockade the few ships that are going through. Does that make any sense to you? Makes absolutely no business sense to me whatsoever. You know, who am I? You know, I have not filed bankruptcy 5 or 6 times on casinos like Donald Trump has. So clearly he knows a lot more about that than I do, right? He's learned something about market manipulation, you think? We'll see this week where things go, but I expect probably war to continue. Israel's going to continue their escalation with Lebanon, perhaps back into Iran, because that's what they want. That's what they've said. That's what Israeli TV said. And in Hungary, if you didn't know, Viktor Orban lost. The right-wing authoritarian lost hugely tonight, bigly, as Donald Trump would say. Love to hear from my Democrats, my MAGAs, my crazies, my cuckoos, and the burned out light bulbs.
It's the start of a new week, and now a new country's blocking the Strait of Hormuz, the United States. After peace talks between the US and Iran broke down in Islamabad, President Trump is attempting to pressure Tehran by ordering the Navy to block ships entering or departing Iran's ports and coastal areas. Oil prices are up and stocks are down in anticipation that even less oil will be available on the market, and that Trump's latest escalation won't resolve the conflict and may jeopardize the ceasefire.
The U.S. military is going to begin a blockade of the Strait of Hormuz on Monday morning. That's according to CENTCOM. A lot of people need to start asking a question. What if a Chinese ship tries to transit the Strait of Hormuz? What if a Russian ship tries to transit the Strait of Hormuz? It's all fine and dandy to announce a blockade, but then once a country tries to test it, are you going to fire on them? We are in a rhyme directly with the Cuban Missile Crisis. After the US government observed nuclear weapons in Cuba, the United States did a blockade around Cuba. And John F. Kennedy, wanted to make sure that these weapons were not going to be used on America. And then the Soviet Union tried to challenge this blockade. It looked like, by all means, we were going straight into World War III. These nations that are friendly with Iran are going to try to challenge this blockade. Think China, Russia, North Korea. And the thing that people need to start asking themselves now, especially in America, is the United States going to just start sinking other nations' ships for trying to challenge the blockade? This is all but a week after Donald Trump threatened to, quote, kill a civilization. You cannot take out an entire civilization or even defeat its military with 60,000 troops. When we went into Iraq, we had 300,000 troops. Iran's military is more capable and its terrain is more mountainous. You have to take and hold most of Iran to prevent any drones or missiles from being shot towards the strait. And all it takes is for one of these drones or missiles to make contact with the ship, and the strait is reclosed. I still think that Donald Trump has been considered.
So, have you heard the United States? Well, Donald Trump says that the United States is going to blockade the Strait of Hormuz because they're sending JD Vance to Pakistan to negotiate with Iran has failed. And so, because of this man right here, because of him, 20% of the world's oil is going to be blockaded. Because that's where it comes from, right? It goes through those ports. But not just that. Things like fertilizer go through that, and other, petroleum products go through there. So just think about all those people, those farmer protests that have already happened in Europe. Like, things like that are going to happen. And, places like Japan, like other places in Asia, the Philippines and stuff, where they've started rationing oil and gas. And it's just like, look at all these oil and gas products. Fertilizer, think about that. You need fertilizer and stuff like that to, have crops, to make food for populations and stuff. So that's going to start hitting the United States, I'm pretty sure, for the fertilizer. There's other oil producing countries. We haven't noticed it yet because we're in an oil producing country, Canada, but, are they going to have to switch getting their oil back from places like Russia and I think Hungary and stuff like that? Because wasn't like Europe trying to blockade Russia, stop using their products? Well, they might have to do it now because they'll have no other alternative. 20% of the world's oil goes through there. I just can't believe that negotiations could fail and the United States can just go to the complete other side of the world and stop all commercial traffic going through there. I think that the US military is trying to clarify it right now because Trump was saying on his Truth Social that they're blockading the entire strait. But I think the military is saying that they're trying to stop vessels that are coming from the ports in Iran. So it's just like, oh my gosh. all of this because, like, basically one person wants somebody else's resources. What do you think?
It's all happening in 8 hours. In 8 hours, the United States will blockade Iranian ports. Trump said anyone attacking a US ship will be blown to hell. Iran is basically admitting now that the destroyers are in the Persian Gulf. And they're saying those destroyers must not come into their territorial waters or they will attack them. Will Iran attack? What would stop them? They're powerful destroyers. Plus, a few hundred miles away, there are 2 US aircraft carriers with 150 fighter jets, as well as another 100 fighter jets of the Air Force, who can be there in minutes. Will Iran risk that? Hold on, guys. 8 hours, it all starts. Will Iran attack? What do you think?
So we have the greatest military equipment. We have the greatest people. We have the strongest military in the world by far, and everybody sees it, whether it's Venezuela or what we've done with Iran. And when I read, the fake news talking about how well Iran's doing, they're not doing well at all. They're getting killed. I could take out Iran in one day.
So the naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz will officially begin Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now that the United States has failed when it comes down to the negotiations with Iran, there is also some reports coming out that the United States might also end up doing limited strikes inside Iran also during this whole blockade process. Let me know your thoughts over in the comments, because we know for the last month Donald Trump has claimed that the United States is doing nothing but win, win, win. And he also indicated that regardless of the outcome of these peace talks and everything, it doesn't even matter because the United States ended up winning anyway. So why would the United States of America decide, why would Donald Trump decide that a naval blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is going to make things even better? Because in fact, it's the exact opposite. It is going to make things extremely worse when it comes down to the economy worldwide. Let me know your thoughts over in the comments, because honestly, it doesn't sound like winning to me.
We couldn't beat them. We couldn't beat Iran, so we will blockade now the Strait of Hormuz ourselves. Guys, I couldn't make this up. I'll be honest. I did not see that one coming. So Trump has said, I'm not joking, Trump has said in the last few hours, quote, effective immediately, the United States Navy, the finest in the world, will begin the process of blockading any and all ships trying to enter or leave the Strait of Hormuz. It was a long social media, X-Twitter/Truth Social post, but I'm just giving you a snippet. Now on the tube, I'll have it as a screenshot, the whole thing, so you could read and just stare open-mouthed, confused at what the flip is going on. Confucius says, in order to move forward, you must be willing to move backwards. And Orange Confucius, arguably you could just call him Confucian, says, in order to open Hormuz, we must first close Hormuz ourselves. I'm doing mental acrobatics. American allies will be like, what the flip is going on? How is this? I can scarcely believe that I'm making this video and it's not a skit. Why would Trump promise or declare effective immediately that he will close Hormuz? He did give some context, okay? So bear with me. Let's go for some context, sort of. Quote, in many ways, the points that were agreed to are better than us continuing our military operations to conclusion, but all of those points don't matter compared to allowing nuclear power to be in the hands of such violent, difficult, unpredictable people. I didn't use the accent, but end quote. That was Trump's comment. He's saying nuclear power, Iran didn't agree to give it up, and they are, as he said, volatile, difficult, unpredictable people. He's unironically talking about someone else being unpredictable. Guys, never let your enemy and apparently yourself know your next move. Senator Mark Warner from the US, the most senior Democrat on the Senate Intelligence Committee, has told CNN, a Western news outlet, quote, "I don't understand how blocking the strait is somehow going to push the Iranians to open the strait," end quote. You and me, brother. Me too. Like, you and me both. I think that was the phrase I was looking for. Joke's over. Not really. Not for another 3 years, probably. But joke's over for the time being. Jokes aside. What the hell is going on? Like, actually, that was sort of the news. We're going to talk about now the analysis, what's actually going on. In case I wasn't being clear, Hormuz, which was open before the war and is now closed by Iran, but not fully because of the ceasefire that Trump sort of agreed to with Iran. So Iran opened it for 2 weeks, sort of, but still ships have to go through a military escort. Now, to open the strait, and if Iran doesn't open it, Trump said, we're going to end their civilization. A civilization is ending tonight. That's a literal post by the president, the Clementine in chief, whatever you want to call it, of the US. That Hormuz that he was threatening, if it's not...
Yeah, this is how things spiral fast. Donald Trump just announced that he's going to have the Navy blockade the Strait of Hormuz. Let me explain why that's a huge deal. The Strait of Hormuz is not just any shipping lane. It's one of the most important checkpoints in the world. A massive percentage of global oil passes through there every single day. So when you say blockade, you're not just targeting Iran. You're impacting the entire global economy. Energy prices, shipping, international trade, everything. And here's the part that people need to understand. A blockade isn't just policy in international terms. It can be seen as an act of war, which means every ship is stopped. And every interception is a potential flashpoint. And this is happening after talks failed. So instead of de-escalation, we're getting escalation at a rapid pace.
All right, y'all. I think Donald Trump is delusional. If you think the entire world is going to let the All right, y'all. Can you hear me now? Okay. Iran has told Donald Trump multiple times he has no control over the Straits of Hormuz. And he seems to think if I just pile my naval ships up in there, I can control. They're not going to let you control it. They already told you. You are not getting in control of the Straits of Hormuz. Number one, that is not in U.S. territory. Donald Trump even went as far on the first day of the war talking about America owns the Straits of Hormuz. No, America has never owned the Straits of Hormuz. And they have told you, you are not controlling it. And I guess he is outdone. He's a white male and you're telling him what he can't have. I guess he's outdone. But they have made it very clear that Donald Trump will never gain control of the Straits of Hormuz. And so he's attempting now, but y'all just sit back. This thing Donald Trump done cooked up in his head, it is going to fail. This is not going to be successful at all. And let's say he's able to block countries from going up in there. Those countries are going to retaliate on America if they can't get their oil and fertilizer and goods that they go in there for. they're going to retaliate on Donald Trump. So I don't know what this man is thinking. You failed in the talks, you failed, and then you called a ceasefire. And then when you got to the negotiating table, you start throwing all this stuff in that nobody agreed to. And Iran had on the table, they get to enrich uranium. And oh, you can never have this. And how you gonna tell another country what they can never have? You got nukes. So we'll see how this goes down. I'm just saying, I think Donald Trump is going to be in for a rude awakening. I think he's going to be in for a shock that these folks are not playing and they're not going to let him have control over a damn thing in that region. He even was babbling yesterday talking about maybe I'll rename the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Trump. Okay, so these people over in the Middle East are going to let you rename the Persian Gulf to the Gulf of Trump. I said, this guy really lives in a serious fantasy. He lives in a fantasy, y'all. This man definitely don't live in reality. Yeah, yeah. He think he can take anything he wants. That's why a week ago he was yammering about, oh, we need to just take Iran's oil. You can't even beat them. If you can't beat these people, how you gonna get in there and take some oil? And you can't beat this country. It's almost like they outpace you by at least 3 city blocks, and you still can't catch up to them. So, y'all, we will see what happens. I'm just telling you, they gonna run them out, or Iran is gonna sink them ships. They gonna sink those naval ships as blocking everybody. That's what they're gonna do. So I'll keep an eye on this one, because I definitely want to see how this turns out. But Trump is going to end up empty-handed. That's my prediction. So, y'all, thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. And I will see you at 3:45 for my next live. Shalom, family.